Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Empyre issue number 5. Man, one more issue and they're going to wrap this all up? I don't know. We're going to see about that. Anyway, let's get talking about who made this comic book, and then we'll talk about where this book seems to be going and what in general happened in the book in the first place. I'm also going to get into a character analysis in here because I was fairly, not completely, not entirely, but fairly impressed with the way it was done. Anyway, we'll get into that. The story is by Al Ewing and Dan Slott. Ewing actually did the script for this issue. The artist is Valerio Scheide with Marty Gracia doing the color art. Letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and the cover is by Jim Chung and Guru FX. Whole bunch of people did the variant covers, but hey, Carlos Loud did the graphic design. And I was saying, he does some really good graphic design, man. I see that a lot. So we start off with basically a manga. Look, man, I don't enjoy seeing romances in comics where they really extend a little bit too far, because this just, like, I don't want to see Hulkling and Wiccan with each other and like, oh, their relationship and blah, blah, blah. If you're a huge fan of these two characters, I'm sure this didn't bother you at all. But me, like, I don't want to see all the different relationships with Matt Murdock, where, you know, there's all the pillow talk. Like, if they're just going to do like a page of pillow talk, okay, cool, because it can at least go somewhere potentially. But there's a lot of last minute hooty hotty what to do in here, and I'm going to suggest what I think is a better way to have done this. You already had Lords of Empyre Sequoia. You already had, which is Koi, the, you know, celestial parasite. He's basically a parasite at this point, but yeah, the celestial messiah. And you already had a Lords of Empyre for Hulkling. Why couldn't we have done one of Hulkling and Wiccan also? Because it seemed like there was a lot in here, and while they certainly got to their point, it was a lot, and it was pretty damned unnecessary as far as I'm concerned. Like, all of this just to say, I can track this man anywhere, because it's magic, and it's symbolic. And now that the it's basically like pro-gay marriage. Hey man, gay marriage should be a thing. People should be allowed to get married. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're straight. I don't care if they deserve it. Some people deserve marriage. I'm making a joke there. Anyway, seriously, like, I don't care. All right, marriage for everyone. All right, but like, that's what this really felt like. And it was done well. Make no mistake, it was done well. Ewing is usually really good at taking sensitive subjects and making them fairly light. But I feel like it went on for too long in this book, and it was unnecessary. And I'd rather get a little bit more of the story and, you know, hey, but it should have had its own book. And I would have read it. I'm reading all of the freaking extras anyway. The ancillaries, the tie-ins, the one-shots. I'm reading all of them. So I would have gotten the story. And they probably could have put more emphasis in it. And this could have simply been a reference, which, hey, editor's note, go buy another comic book and help support your local comic book stores and the comic book industry. Everybody wins, right? So anyway, and if there's enough people who actually like these characters, it's gonna make money. It seems so simple to me. But hey, they decide to have a bunch of pages devoted to, I can find him anywhere. I'm the best at hide and seek when it comes to Hulkling. Okay, cool. Thank you for a whole lot of things in here. I'm going to skip this part because this is the part that I'm going to get into later. Instead, we see Black Panther get killed. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from anybody. He gets a sword through his chest. And I'm going to show you the actual image because there's going to be people who are going to talk, and I usually don't like seeing... Oh, wait, no, this isn't the one. Oh, this isn't the one. No, there's a different image someplace. I think it was in one of the... Because I read all these comic books together. Anyway, he gets stabbed. We don't see exactly where he gets stabbed, but it looks like he's being stabbed through the heart. So, yeah, he... Like, come on, man. Like, homeboy got sliced and diced. He's dead. Anyway, they go down and they check his pulse, which they might as well, like, use a freaking rectal thermometer on him. Like, why would you check his pulse as opposed to just cut his head off? Maybe it's just me, but you're already butchering everybody out here. Why not just avoid taking the chance that he's doing that Zen meditative thing where he slows down his heart rate to like 1 beat per minute and 3 breaths per minute? Why would you even take that chance? Like, just, you know, blop, and then done. Yay, we killed Black Panther. I don't want to see Black Panther killed, but this is just a really weird way to do things. It's like stabbing people doesn't always kill people in the comic books. It's the weirdest thing. So anyway, they apparently kill Black Panther. So I'm sure he's going to come back and be like, no, I was actually okay. This was interesting. Now I like seeing how Wiccan was able to find. I'm actually going to. I'm not going to show you the image because I do want you to buy the comic book. But seeing that Wiccan found Hulkling, and Hulkling is basically the duck in the iron mask. Anybody remember that from DuckTales back in the day? But he's the Hulkling in the iron mask at this point, the man in the iron mask, and he's just, thing. And it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. And seeing all the, like, the bad guys in this really felt like bad guys. And that's something I'm always going to appreciate. So the stuff going on with Khazar and, what is it, Alexander? I guess I haven't been reading enough the whatever the hell this stuff is called, the frickin' Khazar books, because I'd forgotten that he had a son, and I didn't realize he'd grown up that fast. I was like, oh yeah, it's right, he's got a son, but he wasn't a freaking full-fledged adult. What is this? He looks just like his dad. So that was really weird, and we're going to get more into that in the Empyre Avengers book. So we're going to finish this book up with this interesting tidbit. The Iron Man armor was actually apparently made for Mr. Fantastic, so it's going to be... Doesn't he look like Mechanic in this from the He-Man cartoon? I had the toy when I was a kid. My dad bought it for me, and I was like, wow, Mechanic. I never heard of this. It was an Easter present when I was 6. And I got him. I was like, you twist him in the head, the neck extends so the head pops up, and you can see over the tall grass. What a stupid toy. Some of those He-Man toys were really dumb. Moss Man, like he just feels mossy. Are you kidding me? Skunkor was cool. Skunkor was cool. Anyway, now let me get into the thing that I really want to get into. And this is going to be not really spoilerific, but you might consider it that. She-Hulk, and we are going to have the Immortal She-Hulk. It's still being advertised in the back of the book. We are apparently still going to have the Immortal She-Hulk issue, the one-shot. Awesome. I think that we need it after what happened to She-Hulk. Because, ew, we saw it in the first issue, or the previous issue also. And here's the fight between her and the Thing. Now, I have talked a lot about how the Thing used to be the most popular character in all of comic books. That's right. Fight me now. I will win. The Thing used to be bigger than Spider-Man. Yes, bigger than Spider-Man. He was in as many books as Spider-Man was. In some regards, he was in even more. The crossovers, all of that stuff, and his own books, like the Marvel 2-in-1. Spider-Man had his, but those sales, those Marvel team-up books were not as expansive as the 2-in-1 books that had the Thing and some guest in it all the time. And it was a really great, consistent story. I'm saying the Thing, and I don't know how all of a sudden he just disappeared. I don't know when he stopped being so popular. Now, there's some people who like the Thing and they think that he's the strongest and the toughest and the baddest and the blah, blah, blah. And no, I don't think you really get the Thing the way that I get the Thing. And everybody's different. Everybody's going to see it in their own way. But my argument's going to be a little bit more compelling than yours, probably, in this regard. It's that the Thing doesn't always win. Which character is the closest to Ben Grimm, the Thing? It would have to be Captain America. Because Captain America isn't the strongest. He's not. Spider-Man should technically be able to kick his ass, right? But Spider-Man's never actually beaten Captain America before. And even when he's come close, he's stopped because Cap's like, you think it's going to be that easy? Captain America doesn't die. Captain America doesn't quit. Okay, I'm not going to say he doesn't die, but kind of like the Thing, all right? There's a thing said in here, and it's actually pretty cool. Ben Grimm is that guy, much like Captain America, Captain America is the guy who, according to Jim Shooter, his superpower is always finding a way to win. Yes, he always finds a way to win, even at great cost to himself. Ben Grimm has a similar superpower, but it's not that. Everybody thinks that Ben Grimm's big thing is that, you hit him and, ha, made of rock, you can't hurt me. Or, I'm super duper strong. There are people who are more invulnerable than the Thing. There are people who are stronger than the Thing. There are people who are better fighters than the Thing. Captain America is just one of them. Ben Grimm is a really great tank, and he's a great all-around, rounded-out character who can do a whole lot of things, and he's a lot smarter than people give him credit for, and that's one of his secret weapons. But the big thing about the Thing isn't his strength or his body armor or anything like that. It's his grit. It's his endurance. It's the idea that he, like the Energizer Bunny, takes a licking and keeps on ticking. The Thing isn't going to quit. And if you want to beat the Thing, you gotta kill the Thing. And while there are certainly some people out there who would be willing to try, most of them aren't strong enough to get to there. And the ones who can are usually those true steadfast warriors, like the champion of the universe, who just realize, I could never, like, I could beat you, and I could beat you down, I could do all these things, but I can never defeat you, Ben Grimm, because you are undefeatable. That is the spirit of Ben Grimm. Not that 2 issues or whatever recently in Dan Slott's Fantastic Four run where he beats the Immortal Hulk. I'm sorry, the Thing beats the Hulk in one of his strongest incarnations ever. That didn't feel like the Thing to me. And while there's certainly people who are going to be like, the Thing finally got a good one, the Thing has certainly won before. No, the Thing hasn't won before. And I've talked about this before, and I don't expect everybody to have seen this before, but the Thing has never beaten the Hulk before. There's a reason why he says, I finally won. The Thing should not be able to beat the Hulk, because then it's over. Then it's over. No, the Thing should never be able to beat the Hulk. The Thing should never be the strongest one or the toughest one. He's the one who doesn't stay down. That's that boxer story that can make you cry at the end of it, where it's like he just keeps going and the guy just looks at him. He's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And best case scenario, we're going to share a victory. That's Ben Grimm. That's the Thing. That's why the Ben Grimm that I knew back in the 80s was one of the best-selling characters out there. They tried pushing the Human Torch, and Human Torch was wildly popular. He was selling like hotcakes. Dad joke, I gotcha. Anyway, and Spider-Man, of course, super popular. And I'm just talking about Marvel in this case, right? Wolverine showed up, and it's like, snickety snick, mother fat head. Yeah. There was always a bunch of really cool fad-type characters who show in. And yes, I'm going to say that Spider-Man was mostly fad back then because he was in all the TV shows and whatnot. Because it was fairly easy to recreate. Granted, those movies don't hold up today like they did, back then. But the cartoons, there were always those cartoons. But the cartoon with the Thing was, Thing Ring, do your thing. And a couple of Fantastic Four ones where he just came off as too boisterous, too loudmouth, and they didn't really get him the way that I think that they really got him in the comic books. And that always really broke my heart. And I think that's one of the reasons why time has somewhat passed up Ben Grimm. I don't know how you think, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are right now talking about, no, Ben Grimm is this and that, because he does still have a lot of older, like me, fans, who I just don't think they really got him the way that I do. Ben Grimm isn't the guy who always wins. Ben Grimm is the guy who never gives up. Ben Grimm is the guy who says, you're not a loser unless you don't cross the finish line, unless you don't go to the end of the final round. Ben Grimm is the guy who says the only losers are the ones who quit before the bell. That's the Ben Grimm I always knew. Ben Grimm is that hopeful story. Slap a freaking S on his chest. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's who he is. He's the guy who tells you, you don't give up. No matter what's happening in school, no matter how tough it is, no matter, how much homework they pile down on you, no matter how hard it is to deal with, bullies, and no matter how hard it is to, go up and ask the girl out, on a date and things like that, Ben Grimm is the guy who's always just down in his luck, but he says, as much as this world sucks, you know what? Gotta rise to the challenge, baby. Because that's what things do. This captured Ben Grimm better than almost anything else that I've seen. I don't need him to beat this superpowered immortal She-Hulk. I don't need him to beat her. I just don't. I do need him to not give the hell up, though. I'd have rather seen Ben Grimm be the one who's killed in this than T'Challa. If that actually happened, major air quotes there, like slapping air quotes. Because That's the Ben Grimm that I know. That's the only way to ever defeat him, is to kill him. And even then, God brings him back. And God looks an awful lot like Jack Kirby. So that's my Ben Grimm. That's the thing that I know, that I love, that I've always looked up to, that I've always looked at and said, that's a freaking comic book role model. F Wolverine, hairy little sumbitch. You know what I'm saying? But the thing, that's the guy. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. He's not the toughest. But damn it, you ain't beating him, because that's just not who he is. Anyway, guys, I'm out. I hope that this helps you to see my version of the Thing. By the way, like the video and watch an ad, because that's the only way your favorite YouTubers get paid. But I really do hope that this is something that that tells people, go out and get some of those old school Fantastic Four comic books. Go out and get the Thing solo run, because that was amazing. And to me, one of the best Thing storytelling, Ben Grimm storytelling ever, would have to be the Marvel 2-in-1 books, because they were just phenomenal. And if we got that back, all right, very similar to what Chip Zdarsky was trying to go for, only went up to like, what, 10, 12 issues, something like that. Man, bring the Thing back in the spotlight as a major character. And the MCU is here, baby. Like, now's the time. Now's the time, if ever. Strike while the iron is hot. And I'm out, guys. I'll talk to you all later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.